KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. And brought to you by Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Cars Plus, reminding you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Tonight on Primetime, former policeman Mark Torre Jr. back in court in preparation for his case to be retried. And show them the money. The Election Commission is looking into campaign funds received when congressional delegate Mike Nicholas filed for senatorial candidacy in 2017. Also tonight, GPA and the CCU are defending their plans for a new power plant during an oversight hearing. Nestor Lecanto has full details.
And good evening, Guam. I'm Chris Barnett, and our top story. Two matters are pending. In the second round of the Mark Torre Jr. case, the defendant's motion to amend his release conditions and be lifted from house arrest, and the second, the government's motion to amend the indictment. Now, both parties are before the court today on the retrial of the case. Remember, in 2017, Torre was found guilty of negligent homicide and aggravated assault for the 2015 shooting death of fellow police officer Albert Piolo. 2 months ago, the Supreme Court vacated his conviction, and defense counsel Jay Arreola stated that as a practical matter, his defendant has not been charged yet with new offenses.
Our position is that the bail condition should be modified. We would request $5,000 personal recognizance. Other standard conditions, perhaps curfew, if the court is concerned about his release. We would ask that he be allowed to work if he indeed is able to obtain employment, that he be allowed to attend medical appointments, including care for his infant and his soon-to-be newborn.
Assistant Attorney General Charles Kinnunen did not have anything further to add on the motion to amend the indictment and rests on brief. However, Arreola responded by arguing that in order for his defendant to be charged with negligent homicide, then there must be a whole new indictment from the grand jury.
What the court is trying to ascertain is what the defense position is as to what, if any, charges are pending before him. It sounds like the defense position is that there's nothing pending for him.
No, Your Honor. The only charge pending before him is the third-degree aggravated assault. That was charged in the indictment. So if they want to charge him with negligent homicide, our position is they must file a pleading, and that would be a grand jury indictment or a preliminary hearing.
The court is taking the matters under advisement and plans to have a decision in the next 30 days. Judge Michael Berdallo has scheduled a return to trial setting on October 24th. Well, former Guam Police Department officer and drug defendant Jason Ortiola is expected to enter a change of plea agreement. Ortiola was charged with conspiracy to possess a Schedule II controlled substance. As we've previously reported, he was arrested in 2018 with co-defendants Jose Cibal Santos Jr. and Roger Baliche after a drug raid by the Mandania Drug Task Force at Summer Ocean View Towers. Officers seized packages containing meth residue, 4.7 grams of marijuana, and $4,000 in cash. Prior to that arrest, Ortiola was fired from the police force and sentenced in federal court for selling the drug ice while in uniform with his duty weapon. Today, Judge Sokola has scheduled a change of plea for September 26th. Two defendants in what is said to be the largest cocaine bust on Guam were scheduled to change their plea today. However, it was rescheduled for a later date. Randall Fulcher and Jonathan Manglotnia were among 12 people arrested and charged in connection to 35 pounds of cocaine that allegedly washed ashore in Inarajan last year. Manglotnia's plea agreement is under final review. He is scheduled to return to court on October 3rd. As for Fulcher, he will return on September 26th, but his attorney Samuel Tecker says there may be a conflict with this case because of a different 2017 case that may go to trial with Judge Vern Perez. What happened to the money? That's what the Guam Election Commission is asking about Congressman Mike Nicholas's 2018 senatorial campaign funds, and they aren't getting any answers. Here's more. Michael San Nicolas for senator, received February 6, 2017 by the Guam Election Commission. An organizational report was filed at the GEC by then-Senator San Nicolas to run for re-election as senator in the 2018 elections. According to the report, by then he had already raised over $11,000 in campaign contributions for a senatorial bid. The problem? 9 months later, San Nicolas announced on Facebook on November 18th he wasn't running for senator anymore. he was running for Congress.
So we have that someone filed that they were running for senator, and then they never ran for senator. They ended up running for another office, but they raised thousands of dollars. So what happens to that money, and how are they required to report it to you guys?
They're supposed to report the dissolution of the organization, and the monies raised must be transferred to a candidate of the same party for the same office, or to the political party, to their political party.
According to GEC documents, that never happened. Democratic Party officials telling KUAM News they don't recall any financial donations from San Nicolas. KUAM confirming the GEC never received a report from San Nicolas that he had dissolved his candidacy for senator, or saying what he did with the nearly $8,000 balance he had raised towards his bid for senator that never was. This situation with San Nicolas, just one of many similar ones the Guam Election Commission is reviewing, as there are a few candidates from the 2018 elections who haven't closed out their accounts.
What are the ramifications for someone who doesn't dissolve their organization?
In Chapter 17, it states that the Guam Election Commission can impose fines.
We asked San Nicolas whistleblower and former campaign chair John Paul Manuel if he knew what happened to the money in the senatorial account, and he tells KUAM News San Nicolas spent most of it, and he says the congressman raised more money that year that was never reported. These allegations of campaign finance violations separate from the current audit that may be conducted based on a complaint Manuel filed with the GEC last week. Even more interesting is the fact that two of his contributors to his 2017 senatorial campaign were Governor Lou Leon Guerrero and Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio. Ironic, because the administration has lately been at odds with the congressman over local war claims and what he says are his plans to amend the Organic Act. The congressman even chalking up the slew of allegations facing him to a Democratic Party conspiracy. Public Auditor B.J. Cruz is preparing to conduct an audit of the financials for the Guam Island Fair and Liberation Day Carnival. And when lawmakers passed the law to return gambling back to the annual Liberation Day celebration, one of the requirements was that 30 days after the carnival's closure, the audit would commence thereafter. The carnival ended on August 7th, or 34 days ago. Cruz, in a letter to Liberation Festivities Chairperson Lieutenant Governor Josh Tenorio and Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director Angel Sablan, has given them until September 18th to submit the required financial documents. Well, GovGuam's longtime employee health insurer is working on a smooth transition to the new contractor. Calvo Select Care says it's been flooded with calls and messages from members asking what to do following yesterday's big announcement. Our Nestor Lecanto has more in this report.
Calvo Select Care Administrator Frank Campillo says they're disappointed, but right now are focused on helping members deal with the change.
We are receiving numerous calls from our members wanting to know what exactly is going to happen next about their enrollment, their health care continuation, and we provide the best possible answers to them. It is very encouraging to see and hear all of these members that are calling us and they are emailing us with very good thoughts and very good feelings about what we, our employees at Calvo Select Care, have done for them during the past 18 years. I'm very proud of what we have done and what our team has done for the Government of Guam employees. I think we step up in many areas. We were there when nobody else wanted to be there for GovGuam.
He says they changed the market by pioneering new member benefits like gym memberships, referral offices in the Philippines, and most importantly, they provided rebates based on their medical loss ratio.
Our carrier, Tokyo Marine, which is actually the underwriter of our insurance program, also has returned in excess of $24 million to the Government of Guam since 2011.
He says GovGuam should change its annual RFP process, which is too tedious, to one similar to the federal government's.
What we suggested to the Government of Guam is, look, qualify the offerors once. It wouldn't matter whether it's 1 or 20. Just put a ceiling on what you're willing to pay for the single, the couple, and the family on both the active and the retired employees. Adjust it for inflation, and the process will be simplified rather than the process that we have today.
For now, Campillo says they're reviewing their options.
We still remain the largest health insurance company in the island. We have a very large membership in the commercial market and the federal market, and we believe that that membership will continue to increase, and our employees will continue to do everything possible to serve our members in the best manner possible, and we will be ready for KUAM again.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Stick around for more news here on Prime Time. You're watching KUAM.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Now there's a technology that's lighting the way to a new mortgage for people all across Guam. Introducing Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii, Hawaii's leading lender. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii lets you apply for a home loan anytime from any device, making the mortgage and refi process faster and easier. Or work hand in hand with one of our residential loan experts. So put the power of choice and control in your hands. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Your exciting new TV experience is here. Smarter, faster, easier to use. With live TV, recordings, video on demand, and streaming apps, all in a single place. When you're looking for something new, recommendations are tailored to you. Voice-powered, personalized results to find what you want faster. And the unlimited potential of smart home. The new experience from TiVo is here.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
GPA and the CCU are defending their plans for a new 198-megawatt power plant. Now, early on, senators raised concerns over one of the partners in the deal, but ultimately, the oversight hearing settled into a debate over conventional versus renewable energy. Our Nestor Lecanto explains in this report.
Utilities Chairman Senator Clint Rigel has opposed the proposed contract in part because partner Korea East-West Power, who was in charge of the Cabras power plant when it exploded in August 2015, has been sued by the company that insured the plant. GPA received a $120 million settlement and says it's not involved in the legal dispute over who's to blame for the explosion. And CCU member Michael Limtiaco says he's confident there are enough safeguards in place to ensure contract performance.
This company does business throughout the world. I'm sure that they potentially have had other issues along the way. No company is going to operate at 100% perfect track record. But I think the key is, are they going to perform? They bear all the risk. In fact, the solicitation required them to put up 20% of their own money. So they're on. If the plant ends up being $600 million, they're on the hook for $120 million of their own money.
Eventually, discussions shifted to the more fundamental debate over fossil fuels versus renewables. Senator Regine Bisco-Lee.
I feel like that this new power plant just pushes the timeline out further for us to really be thinking about a renewable energy future for Guam.
Limtiaco says they too are committed to increasing renewables, and GPA will hit its 25% target in the next 2 years and can even accelerate it.
If we really are gung-ho about 100% renewables, we can look at it, but we need to be prepared to pay for it. I would have to hazard to guess that ratepayers do not want to see an increase in rates,
which would be an estimated $3.7 billion to build out a complete renewable system. So for now, CCU Director Simon Sanchez says,
until the technology of renewables matures to the point that it can carry the load reliably and affordably, we believe that this is the best, lowest cost, reliable, affordable alternative.
The CCU has already approved a proposed power purchase agreement with Korean Electric Power Company. It now awaits final approval from the PUC. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
No response, not even a request for an extension to respond to a Freedom of Information request sent by Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Public Safety, Vice Speaker Talina Nelson. Now, today was the deadline for DOC Director Samantha Brennan to comply. As we reported, Vice Speaker Nelson requested information on erroneous releases of inmates and detainees, DOC's organizational structure and shift change procedure, reports of assaults on DOC officers, and pepper spray training. Now, these are items Nelson says go hand in hand with a $250,000 federal grant that will reach expiration at the end of this month. The grant money was awarded to DOC 3 years ago from the Department of the Interior for the agency to hire a company to conduct an assessment and master plan to ensure safety and growth at the Department of Corrections. Over the years, 2 RFPs have been issued, but nothing has ever been awarded. Last week, Brennan told KUAM the latest RFP process was under review. DOC has until September 30th to use it or lose it. No SNAP. Public Health announced today that able-bodied adults without dependents, or ABAWD, will have to find work effective October 1st. The waiver application extension to remove the 3-month benefits time limit within 3 years for the ABAWD to receive the taxpayer-funded Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program was rejected by the Food and Nutrition Service Agency Human Services Program Administrator Annie Soto.
Over 15,000 under SNAP program, and about 5,000 are considered ABOD, and about 2,100 are not exempted. Yeah.
But those who are on a time limit have the option to remain on the assistive program, but there are certain conditions that are required. Soto says either way, they will still have to find work.
They must at least work 20 hours per week or 80 hours a month, participate in a work program like the Guam Employment Training Program, at least 80 hours a month or other educational training, work at least 20 hours per week or in any combination of working and participating in a work program.
The last in a series of public safety town hall meetings will be taking place in Agate for all southern residents. The meetings, spearheaded by Adelup, were prompted from the June machete attack in Mangilao. Previous gatherings were held in Jigo, Tamuning, Derido, Mangilao, and Agana Heights. Residents are being given the opportunity to voice their concerns as well as offer solutions about crime and safety in their respective villages. In Derido, for example, residents stressing the need for increased police presence and an improvement in response times. The meeting takes place tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at the Agate Community Center. Well, the Chamorro Women's Group is going to use traditional Chamorro systems to empower women, girls, and gender-diverse people in Guam. Here's more in this report. Yagan Famao and Guahan, the Indigenous Chamorro Women's Association of Guam, working to enhance, promote, protect, and foster the well-being of Chamorro women. Founding member Terry Francisco and co-president Jessica Nangauta say having access to SINA in the group will provide a perspective that is getting harder to find. Francisco saying this perspective can help young Chamorro women navigate unfamiliar waters like motherhood.
We don't have access to a lot of our elders, right? A lot of our elders die younger now, right? And so young Chamorro mothers don't have the knowledge, right, or the skills oftentimes that's needed, right, to support transition in roles.
Francisco will be part of an Indigenous women's panel this Wednesday at the University of Guam. The Dinanyan Hagan Famalaon Pacifico Gathering of Daughters of the Pacific will bring together women from different Indigenous communities like Hawaii, Chuuk, Australia, and the CNMI. Panels like this provide valuable outreach efforts for Indigenous women, and Francisco adds that there are holistic benefits to coming together in a feminine circle.
Very healing and therapeutic kind of alliances, right?
Yeah.
And we really want to offer that out to, our Chamorro women sisters, right, and mothers, right, and
Even
you know,
youth.
and youth, right, right, and foster a greater sense of empowerment and identity.
Nangauta tells KUAM part of the group's goal is to assist Chamorro women with empowerment issues. This will include opening doors to safe spaces.
We're still here, we're around, we want to make better for our island, we want to give back to our community, give to our girls. I mean, we want to do fundraisers for scholarships to support our girls. We want to create bigger sisterhood and also help to empower each other in different ways.
The Hagan Familao in Guam's mission statement says it functions on Chamorro systems of truth, helpfulness, togetherness, generosity, self-control, humility, wisdom, harmony, respectfulness, and being loving. According to the group's mission statement, its goal is to enhance, promote, protect, and foster the social, economic, cultural, spiritual, and political well-being of Chamorro women, girls, and gender-diverse people in Guam. You can email the group at haganguahan@gmail.com. That's HAGANGUAHAN@gmail.com. Meanwhile, you can catch the Hagan Group at Wednesday's Indigenous Women's Panel. The panel starts at 6 in the evening at the UOG Multipurpose Room at the School of Business. Well, Jamaican Grill will be hosting its 18th annual 9/11 commemorative luncheon at all of its restaurant locations on Wednesday, September 11th. Now, the local restaurant will offer its signature chicken and ribs meal, jaw mango iced tea, and cake free of charge to the island's police, firemen, paramedics, airport, and military police. Now, all personnel must be active duty and dressed in full uniform to dine in. The 9/11 commemorative luncheon is from 10 a.m. to 4 in the afternoon. Now, Jamaican Grill has been doing this annually to honor and commemorate the lives of lost during 9/11 and also as a way to say thank you to our local heroes. Well, sports is next. Double D on the way. Keep it here.